I gotta just tell you a quick story if that's okay, and then I want to get this
Yeah.
is sort of
Yep.
related to retail, and it's a positive story, and then maybe we can transition into some of your scary stories. So, um, Alex and I are at Costco, my favorite grocery store. I just have to say that. Um, it and
That's a
we just got
hold on. No one's gonna know what you're talking about. Hold on, that's an inside joke. No
yeah,
one knows it here, but that's an inside joke.
yeah, you're
So
right. It is.
I didn't work at Costco, and for long years, Trev would poke jabs at me like, "Oh, Costco's awesome in this way. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this?" And that's
Yeah,
what he's
I
talking
mean,
about right now.
yeah. I not just Costco. I used to compare Nate's previous employer to a lot of places because um in my opinion, it was probably elite 20 years ago, but then all of a sudden you got your high-end fancy retail grocery places coming out that had all the organic food, blah blah blah, and your previous place would come up with like a small section of that. But if you really wanted that stuff, you'd probably just go to the grocery store that specialized in like almost their whole store was that. And so you really weren't the best in that area. And then when it came to like the actual design, like being inside your store and how nice it was on the higher end, but it wasn't like Costco by any means. And when it came to prices, it was like the high end, expensive. It really, the only thing you were getting at your store that was the best was customer service. But you said that was
Yeah,
such a business model there that it was toxic for the employees, which is just interesting to think
yep,
about. Like
100%.
that's what
Well,
you
if you think
got.
about it,
And
it probably paints a picture of maybe not being successful in the future. And that's another reason. I mean, I own stock shares of that company, and only my level and above, it wasn't publicly traded. Only my level and above could buy stock. And I realized also on my way out that I do not know where this company is going to be in 20 years. I do not want my retirement resting on the fate of this company because I no longer believed it would be successful or have the foresight and willpower to change with the times because it was stuck in this very archaic sort of business model. But sorry, Trev, you go ahead. I'm
yeah,
interrupting you.
no, I mean, no, I love, thanks for jumping in. I really did feel like I didn't go there because I couldn't afford it. Then when I could afford it, I started going there more because I wanted to support you. And at first I did like it because I was like, okay, it feels better in here than my previous grocer. Feels like the cashier's experience is better. If I need something, it's better and it's cleaner. But then like all of a sudden I started trying branching out to other grocery stores, and like I was hesitant to go to Costco because before I started a family I just didn't think I needed it, and I didn't like the idea of exclusive, like, being exclusive and having a membership. But once I like made the leap and did it, it was there's never going back. But anyway, um okay, so I'm at Costco. I just got paid. You buy everything in bulk there, and you when you walk out your price tag is pretty high, but you're probably not going to have to go as often, and also you're getting better value on a lot of things because if you buy in bulk the price per unit goes down. But sometimes if you choose to buy like booze, um also like if you buy Tide Pods there, you're probably going to get like 6 months worth of Tide Pods, but it's like $35. So if you get that at Target or any place, maybe you're paying $20, but you're only getting like one thing. At Costco, you're paying 35 and you're getting four things. So it's a much better value. It's going to last you forever. Well, anyway, since we just got paid and I get commissions and it just happened to be like a good paycheck and we just gotten paid. So Alex and I are kind of walking through and we're being pretty like, yeah, yeah, do you kind of want this? Yeah, just get it. And so we're getting a lot of stuff. And I also travel for work, and I happen to have been in Houston recently and tried to run my debit card, which is a Visa, and it wouldn't work, didn't go through, and found out that the bank wouldn't let it go through because they thought maybe somebody had stolen my card, and they sent me a text and said, "Do you want this to go through?" But it was the next morning. Well, I had already paid for that bill with a different card. And I felt like if I said yes to the bank might send it through, which would have been a double charge. So I didn't want to do that. But I felt like if I said no, they would think my card was stolen. So I just didn't answer the text. I just ignored it. Well, then I forgot and didn't use that debit card for like a week. And now I'm home and I'm at Costco and we go to pay and I go to get out my card and I put it in and the card doesn't work. And so then I'm like, oh crap, I'll just use my American Express. And then Costco's like, oh, we don't take American Express. We only take Visa here or MasterCard, but you can't use American Express. And so I look at Alex and I was like, well, I don't have any other cards. Like, I need to borrow your debit card. And Alex is like, Alex, and we have a joint bank account, so the money doesn't matter, but like, I don't have another card, you know? And so Alex is like, well, I left my wallet in the car, and there's like a pretty good line behind us. And like at Costco, I mean, they just took a long time to ring up all of our stuff. And the line behind us, I didn't know what to do. And I'm like starting to panic. And I'm sure you've been in a situation where somebody couldn't pay and they have all this huge amount of groceries. It's like, what do you do? And the person working just calmly looks at me and goes, hey, it's no problem. We'll just hold your stuff right here. You guys can go out to the car. We'll ring a couple other people up. Then when you get back, we'll just close you out and you can be on your way. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. This kid, who's probably, I don't want to call him a kid and be disrespectful, but he had to have been like 25 years old. He walks in front of the person in front of me and says, I got it. And I was like, no, no, you do not have to do that. He goes, no, it's the holidays. I'm doing it. And he gets out his like fancy, nicer Chase card, and he doesn't have to slip it in and type in a code. He just hovers it over the thing, and all of a sudden it's paid.
Yep.
And it was $230. There's no way he
Holy
would have
cow. That's
known.
awesome.
He wouldn't have
Yep.
known that though. He couldn't even see it. I tried to tell him no. He goes, I was like, dude, can I Venmo you? Like, he'd already paid it now. And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." I was like, we have the money. My card's not working because I just traveled. He's like, dude, you don't have to say anything. I got it. He goes, my wife's pregnant. We have a new one on the way. It's the holidays. This feels like the right thing to do. And I mean, I could hardly even say thank you because I was in such shock. And
Yeah.
I kept trying to offer him Venmo and he just kept saying no. And eventually Alex was like, Trevor, like, we have to go. He wants to do this for you.
Yeah.
Just say thank you. So I said thank you and left. And to this day, I have no way of contacting this person. And I feel like,
Yep.
I mean, it's just really affected me a lot since then. We just got all of our
That's awesome.
groceries for
That's a
free.
hell of a
And like,
story.
remember I told you like we were just willy nilly throwing stuff in our cart. We weren't even really being responsible, which honestly we never do. That's probably the
Mhm.
most just nonchalant I've been about throwing stuff in my cart in like a year. And then we didn't end up paying for it. And I have no way of paying this
Yep.
person back now, you know?
Well,
So,
that's a good example of pay it forward. I mean, if that was me and, I felt the way you do, and it sounds like you feel guilty might be the
um,
wrong word.
I did at
Um,
first. I
I don't
felt
know
really
what the right
guilty.
word, I don't know what the right word is, but, you know, he helped you out. And I mean, you could go do the same to someone else and be net zero and even and made someone else feel that way. Imagine that feeling that you have of appreciation. Um, if that pay it forward went 20 levels and 20 different people spent $200 on a stranger, that's 20 people whose faith in humanity is restored and they all ended up net zero. You're going to be net zero anyways because you paid for the groceries and got the groceries.
Yeah.
It just, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, I that's a hell of a story. I didn't even know that story about you. That's I've done that stuff, but it's been like Starbucks. It's been like, oh, the person in front of you paid for your drink. Do you want to pay for the person behind you? I was like, yeah. you know? And what's the worst case scenario? There's four people in the car and it's $20. I mean,